phone. It's done me good the last 3 lives. Please don't fail me now. It's always when I've got someone new on. If I'm on with Corinne or I'm on my own, it works absolutely fine. But when I go with someone new, it's like the worst sound ever. Because I reboot my laptop, and I the other day I was like, oh no, I've got to re-download Chrome and all that to go live on my laptop. So I was just like, oh, I'll just do it on my phone. I've got a new phone coming next week anyway. Okay, amazing. So guys, I'm going to start off firstly with, before we get, how is Stanley? Stanley's fine. He's still alive. My little hamster decided to jump out of my hand the other day while I was showing him on a live. And I think he was a little bit disorientated, but he is alive. And I know that question is probably going to get asked. And as always, old, new, if you are inappropriate on the channel or any way inappropriate to Eliza, you will be blocked permanently. Good evening, Victoria, and good evening to everybody that is in the room. We'll just give it 2 secs because it is popping up the views a little bit, so everyone has to say hello. I'll end up saying it about 100 times, and I do. Evening, Samantha. What I don't want to do is people sort of jump in after a couple of minutes and then they're like, oh, what's going on here? I hope everybody is well. Okay, let's get the ball rolling. So firstly, thank you very much, Eliza, for, I am saying it right, aren't I?
Yeah.
Eliza, yeah. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. I really appreciate you. And just taking time. Evening, guys, taking time out of your evening to share your story. So yeah, let's just start off with a little bit about your childhood, sort of what was like family life like before your crime was committed.
So I grew up in Birmingham, and my family life was very disjointed. Like, my mum, bless her, like, she didn't have great parenting, so she just didn't know how to parent, and it's very abusive, like mentally, but very physically as well. And I was sent to live with my nan and granddad when I was 9. But I was a gymnast when I was a kid, and I was a really good gymnast. I was training like 3 evenings a week, all day on a Saturday. I was training at an Olympic club, Redditch and Bromsgrove Olympic Gymnastics Club. Like, I was really good, and I went to live with my nan. My mum got pregnant with twins, and she really struggled. She was like huge, so I went to live with my nan and granddad when I was 9, and that was like horrific. My granddad was into little girls, and my nan was really physically abusive. And then when I came back, I was 12 when I came back, and I kind of came back into this family that was like these like toddlers that I had no idea who they were. And I knew my mum was pregnant when I left, but there was these toddlers that I just didn't know who they were. My sister had grown. I was just felt really out of place, and I think, with everything that had happened, when I got back, I really struggled to like cope with my feelings and my behaviour, because I couldn't say anything, and I ended up going in the care system. That was pretty rough, but I was really lucky actually, because I ended up with a great family in Leamington Spa, and they really looked after me. And I was really naughty. I was really naughty, and because I just wanted my mom. I just wanted to go home. I didn't want to be there. I wanted, as abusive as it was at home, and as like violent as it was with my mom, I just wanted to be with my mom. And yeah, I mean, I never went to school. I was glue sniffing, drinking, smoking weed, taking speeds, all of that in the 80s, the early 80s.
And been there, done it.
Yeah, it was the time, right? Yeah, it was a thing. And I got all punky, shaved all my hair off. Like, it was just, I was nuts. I was absolutely nuts. And I left school with nothing, and I was pregnant when I was 16. Yeah, that was like I don't know. I think like when I think about it now, I think like, you know, I think I just really desperately wanted someone to love and someone to love me back. And ended up having a baby when I was 17, my daughter, my eldest daughter, Billy. Yeah, and I had her when I was 17. So carry on.
Yeah, please. I'm just
Okay,
listening to you,
carry on.
and I can see obviously it's getting a bit emotional, and I can get like that telling my story. So please,
Yeah,
if you want to take a minute or whatever you want me to talk over it, you know, just please take your time. Yeah, it sounds. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling your pain a little bit. I'm not going to lie already, and it's just that homesick feeling.
the homesick. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, like when I had Billy, she was born on Christmas Day, you know, and
Wow.
it was amazing. Like, everyone said, "Oh, fancy having a baby on Christmas Day," and I was like, "No, it's the best Christmas present I've ever had." And I didn't know how to be a mom. I didn't know how to do it, and I didn't cope, and and I kind of like I had to leave my foster home because they couldn't keep me with a baby. And I went to live with this woman, and she was amazing. She was amazing. She taught me
Oh,
so much about being a mom and about how to cook and about how to prepare things and, you know, what to do. She was crying and couldn't settle her, and you know, and it was amazing. And I think I found a real like support with her. She was like the mom that, I'm not saying that I didn't have, but she was the mum that
yeah,
my mum
yeah.
couldn't be for me. Um, and she was lovely, and then I left there, and then I bloody had another baby when I was 19. So I've got two kids. I'm 19. I'm nuts, absolutely bloody nuts. And you know, by this point, I'd been dabbling in all sorts, crack, heroin, speed, acids. Like I was just party drugs. I was going raving, and you know, like that's all of my offending. All of my offending is drug related. Um, so yeah, and I mean, I had two kids at 19, and I decided to go back to Birmingham. And I met someone, and I was with him for 10 years in the end. And I had, and it was quite like we were really happy. We got on holidays, we had a car, we both worked, the kids were at school. You know, things were really happy for a while. And I think, you know, I kind of look back on that point and I just think to myself, I did not know how to have relationships. My mom did not know how to have relationships. She had no idea about it. Um, she so she couldn't teach me that, if that makes sense. So I guess we
Yeah.
learned from, do you know what I mean? Um, and I just guess I didn't know how to be in that relationship. I never kind of felt good enough, you know. Um, uh, and I had a little boy, Alex, in 1988. No, 1998, sorry. I had Alex in 1998, and then when that relationship broke down in 2000, I just couldn't manage, and I just ended up drinking vodka and injecting heroin. That happened really quickly. You know, I kind of, you know, my girls were 10 and 8 when Alex was born. So when I
10 and 8, sorry, when Alex was born.
So they were 10 and 8, and then when me and my son's dad split up, they were 12 and 10, and Alex was 2. And yeah, I just ended up drinking bottles of vodka and injecting heroin. I just didn't know how to cope. And because they'd had like this normal, almost normal, it's such a thing, isn't it? Because they'd had this like life of like going on holiday, having these school uniforms, lunch. Do you know what I mean? Like it was like
Yeah.
externally, it was that happy family thing. But it wasn't like that behind closed doors. It wasn't like that at all. Um, so and yeah, and I just went from being this like, you know, 2.4 kids, that kind of like parent, to being to just using heroin every day. And And they went from having all of that to having absolutely nothing at all. And I think that was about the time when I started getting in trouble a lot. I'd be getting arrested just for shoplifting, stuff like that. And I'd get a conditional discharge, get a discharge, whatever, like loads of different things. Then I'd get a DRR. Then I'd get somewhere else where I'd have to do groups. And I remember one time I went to court for shoplifting. And because I'd been getting away with it for 5 years, I thought I'd be all right. So I've gone into court and the bench, and he said to me, if you come before this court again, you will go to prison. I was like, okay. I left the court and went shoplifting.
Like you do. Oh, yeah.
As you do. Like, physically, I really struggle to not take heroin when I'm using heroin and crack. And so I went shoplifting, went home, and I think 2 weeks later I was back in court. So I just remember thinking, I'll be all right. I'll be all right. Do you know that like proper denial? Like, I'll be all right. So the day before I was in court, Alex, my son, Alex, so I keep reading them. Alex's dad came and picked him up the night before I went because I was really worried that I would go to prison, even though I didn't think I would, if that makes sense. So I've got to, so I left the girls. My girls at this point, they're like, so my daughter's had a baby now by this time. She's 17. She's got a baby. She had her eldest when she was 17. And so I left the girls. So Billy was 17. Sophie was 15. Sophie was off to school. I said goodbye. I said, look, I'm going to go to court, but I'll be back. Don't worry. And I got to court and my mate was there and he got some gear and I said, oh, give me a bag. So I went and as a thing, went into the court and he went, don't go to court. You're going to go to jail. Just come with me and we'll just have a mad one for a few weeks and then just hand yourself in. I was like, no, I'll be all right. I walked in, and then they put me in the thing and they locked the door. I thought, they've locked the door. And it was the same bench.
Oh,
I was like, fuck. And I got 6 months for 6 counts of shoplifting. I got 6 months. Yeah, that wasn't great because I'd given Alex over to his dad the night before, supposedly getting him back that day, the next day. I just left the girls in the morning saying I'll be back later. Yeah, so it was pretty. Yeah, it wasn't great.
So I mean, everything must have been going through your head because I remember the first time for me, and obviously, you know yourself, you go downstairs and then you're waiting the whole day until the van comes and takes you. Like, what was going through your head? I mean, everything must have been going through your head.
Well, I'm just like, I think so. I got took down. And I was in that little thing, and my solicitor, right? So his nickname was Nobel Barry. That was his nick. His name was Barry. They used to call him Nobel Barry, but I always got bail with him anyway. So I was down there, and he come to see me, and he said, "I'll try my best." And I was like, "Yeah, you fucking didn't though, did ya?" Because I wouldn't be sitting here, and I was like blaming him and all of that, and and I just felt really like, like, I don't know, like the life was sucked out of me. And I just was scared. I was just really scared, and I just thought, "Fuck!" Like,
yeah, of course you can. My mouth's vile, mate. You crack on.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it just felt like the life had been sucked out of me, really, and I felt kind of confused, and I was worried about the kids, and having to sit there all day waiting for the sweatbox to come, and I think the most harrowing thing, so when I was on the sweatbox, we used to have to drive past my house, basically. And as we were driving past, like, out of everything that I talk about, this really chokes me. And as I was driving past, I saw my daughter pushing her
Oh
pram. And I
no.
just thought, like,
Shit.
fuck. Yeah, it still like does me
God,
that
the
does.
chances of that. Yeah, I can imagine.
And
I
that's she's got a 3-week-old baby, and I'd left her with, you know, it was yeah. And she looked really alone as well. She was just pushing this pram with my
babe.
granddaughter in it, and I just,
Yeah. It's like a baby pushing a baby, isn't it? You've been there, you know. And yeah, I can imagine everything went probably through your head. Oh, I should have been there to teach her what the woman taught you and X, Y, and Z.
yeah.
All I remember looking at the sweat boxes thinking, I ain't gonna see this again for a long time. Make the most of the shops and the shitty buildings and God knows what else, because I'm not gonna see the outside world for a long time. And that was
Yeah.
painful. That was really
Mm,
painful. Never mind, like, what
mm,
are the chances of driving past your daughter and your grandbaby? God. And then
yeah.
it's the fear of the unknown, isn't it?
Yeah. And you know, I would never tell anyone this in the past, but I was really scared. And like, I think I was quite like fortunate because when I got to Eastwood Park, no, I didn't. I got to Brock Hill. That's how long ago that was. Got to Brock Hill, and the mad thing is, I used to visit my eldest daughter's dad in Brock Hill when it was a YO,
Oh my God.
men's lads YO, with my daughter, and then I'm on my way to Brock Hill, looking at her out the window pushing her own pram. Like it just was like this nut scenario. Um, but when I got in there, like I must have been like a rabbit in headlights because I had no idea. And I was really fortunate. This girl who was on the sweatbox with me, she came up to me and she went, "You never been to prison before, have you?" I said, "Nah." And she was like, "Oh, don't worry." And like she talked me through it, and I was like, "Oh." Now when I think about that, I think, God, what a beautiful person, and I don't even know who she is anymore. I lost touch with her, but but yeah, that was mad. And then I was really confused as to why I couldn't have this and why I couldn't have that and why I could only have 2 of these, or and you know, and I took nothing with me, so they were giving me like sweats and stuff, and yeah, and I just like so I'd had a bit of gear in the court on the morning. By like so then they've locked the door and it was Sands at that point. So you had to like buzz to get out, and then when you got back in, press a code to get back in for the toilet at night.
Oh, they got that in the men's. Yeah, a friend of mine,
Mm,
he's in the man's prison. He FaceTimed me, and I was like, he was like, yeah, you got to do a code and that, and I was like, what? And he was showing me, and he like walked down.
yeah.
And I was like, what? That's mad. They still actually have that in the men's
Yeah.
prisons.
Wow. Okay. I've never it's the only prison I've been in that has that. So I was just like, God. And it was all just weird. And like by about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the night, I would start to rattle, and I thought, oh, fucking here we go. And you couldn't see a nurse until the next morning, or a doctor until the next morning. And by the next morning, I'm really ill. I'm throwing up. Just feel so ill. And they oh God, the first night as well. So I didn't understand that sound system. So I've gone out, used the bathroom, come back in, and I'm like, I'm trying to press buttons and I don't understand. Like I'm like, don't know where to look for this code. And you have to look in this little spy hole thing for this code. And like the people screaming, lock your fucking door, press the fucking codes. I'm thinking, shit, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I
Oh,
was really like, you know, in that you get that overwhelming feeling, like yeah, I was like, fuck, what am I doing? So I managed to work it out anyway. And yeah, the next day I was just so ill. And by the time I got to see a doctor, I was already throwing up. It was already past the point.
yeah.
Um, and so they would have give you some, well, they give me methadone at that point, but it was too late. I was throwing up, so I weren't keeping it down. And I think I spent my first 4 days just in my cell, just never left my cell. Um, and there was like one of the wing cleaners. She used to come in every morning on unlock and sweep and mop my floor for me and sort my bowl out and everything for me. I was just like, that experience, like the kindness of people, even though like you hear horrific things about prison or the way the way female prisons are depicted in TV shows and stuff like that. So you have this idea that they're like that. And it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that
It's
for
really
me.
not.
And
It's
no,
not.
it's really
Yeah,
not.
you'll speak to most people. John, the answer to that is really, yeah, it's really bad. But guys, can we just keep all questions to the end, just because Eliza is sharing her story, so I don't want to ignore everybody, but I will until she's finished. So yeah, sorry, I do apologize. I forgot to say that, I think, at the beginning. Yeah, so yeah, you have this. It's the fear of the unknown, for starters. You see it on
Mm,
the TV and you think, oh my god,
mm,
what's going to happen to me, and all the rumors of brooms and stuff in Holloway and being put in places they shouldn't and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, there are women that have had bad experiences, but I would say like 80-90% will say they made a little family, and
mm,
people will really come to you and
mm.
support you in your first moments of prison.
That was my experience, definitely. I mean, there was a girl came in like a couple of weeks after me, and I was on induction, and she came in a couple of weeks after me. She was in the cell opposite to me, and I could hear everyone in the landing saying, "She's got a parcel. She's got a parcel," and I just thought, "Fuck." And then I just heard it. I just had to go. I just went in myself. I just shut my door. And I'm like pacing in myself, thinking, what do I do? What do I do? Like, I fucking don't want to press the buzzer, because if I press the buzzer, then I'm fucking grassing, and I can't grasp, but I can't go in there. There's about 8 of them in there on top of her, like, and it was horrific. And I just remember being on my bed, just crying and thinking, like, feeling so powerless to help her, but hearing exactly what was happening. That was really horrific, really horrific. Like, I got moved a couple of days after that, so I don't even know what happened to her, but
Do you
that
know
was a
what?
really
You've actually, yeah, you've reminded me that happened in Bronzefield. They don't care. They do that,
Mhm,
and that's still a thing now. I mean, I don't know how long ago you came out of prison, but in Bronzefield, they basically they will go to the place where you've got that parcel, and they will remove it from you. Yeah, that's got to be a bit of trauma in itself, because, like you say,
mm.
what do you do?
Yeah, what do you do? Right, it's just this, like, really powerless situation you find yourself in, of, like, I have no power to, like, help this girl. I cannot help her.
And how long had you been in prison
It
for at this point?
2 weeks.
So then, I guess your head then, how did that make you feel? Did you then see prison a bit different, like you felt unsafe and stuff like that? Do you know what I mean? Because it's
I don't think I ever felt unsafe, and just the reason for that is, like, I'm quite able to, like, like, I could talk to people, like, I could get on with people. I've never really had any kind of drama. Um, so I was all right, but I was still, like, because I could see the group of women that it was, and I just kept myself away from them. I got moved a few days after that. I got moved to Wings a few days after that, over onto Main Block. So yeah,
result.
it wasn't nice, but and it does still make me feel uncomfortable when I talk about it, because I just feel for her. I'm just think, like, God, like, how is she after that? Because, we collect bad memories, right? And I think, just for myself as a woman in addiction, I've collected so many bad memories of my own doing, but I've
Yeah,
also collected all these other bad memories as well. And that poor girl that's pretty shitty memory for her to have. But so yeah, so I got moved, and, like, I'm not very fortunate in prison with visits and money and stuff like that. So I was a wing cleaner, for my, like, £8.50 a week, 50p off for your telly. And I was on the spur, and, like, it was great. There was some great girls in there. We used to shout across the windows to each other. The lads from Huell Grange used to shout over to us. So we used to shout back to them. Then, because Huell Grange at that point was like a men's open, and the farm was there, and they'd always be, like, walking, like, across down, so they'd be shouting up the windows. We'd be shouting back, but So after that, my mum came to see me one time, and she come in and so I've gone in and she was there, and I could give her this big hug, and she went, "Oh, they locked the gate." I said, "What?" And she went, "When I come through the gate, they locked the gate." And I was like, "Yeah, Mum, it's prison. They're gonna lock it, they
Oh,
lock us
bless
in."
her.
Bless her. I know, bless her heart. So my mum came to see me, but I only did 7 weeks, and then I got out and did 6 weeks on tag. But I remember getting out, and I had a support worker, like, in the community, and she picked me up and she said, "Oh, I'll take you back home." And I was like, "No, don't take me home. Take me into town because I want to get something for my kids." And it's got me little discharge grant. I got me little 58 quid. And
Gone down
so I
now.
went into town. Huh?
Gone down now. It's like £47.50.
Is it? God. Um, I went into town, I got my kids something, and I scored some gear. And I used that, and then I went home, and my mum was there, and my girls were there, and my middle daughter's really savvy, and she don't take no shit. So someone's trying to call me. She doesn't take any shit. And as soon as I walked in, she just looked at me and she went, "You've been and had some heroin." I went, "No, I haven't." And I just denied it and denied it. Billy, my eldest, she was sticking up for me. My mum was sticking up for me.
Oh,
But she was right. I know, she was right, and it's really shit. And then my son's dad, so I'd kept in touch with my son when I was in prison, and then my daughter's like phoning them and stuff. And he was supposed to bring my son back. So I was waiting for the tag people to come. They were coming by 6 p.m. or something. Someone keeps trying to phone me. And so so I had to wait in. And it's about 1 o'clock now, and Alex's dad was supposed to bring my son back at 3:30 after school. And and he turned up at 1 with his sister, and I said, "Where's Alex?" And he said, "He's at school." And he said, "Where's Alex?" And I said, "Where's that? Well, can I have him after school?" And he said, "No, I'm not giving him you back." And that was like, I think that was another implosion, if that makes sense.
of
Like,
course.
everything that I was just confused. I think my legs went, and I was in a serious mental and emotional state, and I couldn't really actually process that. And he um to cope with, and I just kept using. um didn't really know any other kind of way. No one ever told me about
Guys, can you still hear me?
yeah.
I just come up with reconnect. I don't know what happened there. I just want to ask one question. When you was in prison, did you get clean? Did you stay clean at that point? Was you just using like
Yeah.
methadone?
Nah, come off it. They didn't keep you on a
Oh,
thing
shit.
then. They gave you 12 mil. They give you 12 mil, and you had to come down over like a week.
Wow, brutal.
So
But I suppose it's not a bad thing.
it was brutal, but I'd kind of done it really because I couldn't keep it down anyway. Um, so I did a rattle in prison, so I felt a lot better. But what prison didn't do was give me any. It didn't give me any tools for
Yeah.
when I got out of prison to stay clean. No one ever told me about any 12-step stuff. No one ever told me about any, kind of fellowship stuff. No one ever told me about meetings, rehab. No one ever, that was never meant in all of my previous, like, appointments on DRRs and stuff like that. No one ever said about rehab. No one ever said about meetings.
What year did you go to prison? First time around?
First time, 2005, January
Was it
2005.
really a thing then, though? Like the way they have the help.
Nah, it was the
The
celebrities.
way they kind of have the thing now, like the difference, it wasn't really a
No.
thing, was it, back then? And even if it had 7 weeks, you couldn't have got on the course anyway. Like the course I'd done, you had to be serving a long time, not a long time, but the course was a minimum of 12 weeks anyway. So you wouldn't have had time.
Did you do
Yeah,
rap?
yeah, I did it in Send.
I
Yeah, it's
did
the
rap.
best
Yeah.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
best thing
man.
I ever done.
Yeah.
Best thing I ever done.
Yeah.
What year did you do
Yeah.
it in Send?
I did it in 2009.
Was I know it's Angela. Was Paul a counsellor there then? As
No, Jane, she was my counsellor.
Jane. No, Donna, I'm thinking of. So there's Donna, Angela, Paul, and Amanda. But they're probably all
Yeah,
changed
Amanda.
because I did it in
Um,
2019.
oh wow. God, yeah, it's not long ago though.
But yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
I just went off
No,
off
it's
course.
fine, it's fine. Um,
Yeah, go on.
no, you're fine. See, I just think like no, yeah, it wasn't a thing back then unless you was a celebrity or a film, like film, whatever.
Yeah,
Kind of, it was never really mentioned.
and you had dough.
Yeah,
And then you had dough. You had money to pay for rehab and all that sort of stuff.
exactly. Unless you could pay for it yourself, exactly. So I just carried on using. I just couldn't cope. I would make arrangements. Like my girls, they stayed with. Well, Billy had to move out. Social services made her move out because I was using heroin. And she got her own place, and she didn't cope very well either. It's been this constant like thing with our family. Like, do you know what I mean? Which is difficult. And then I'll just use more. To be fair, when Alex went to his dad's, it just gave me more freedom to use more because I didn't have to pick him up from school. Didn't have to worry about getting nicked and I couldn't get to the school. Didn't have to worry about taking him to school. Didn't have to work, and I basically just used. Promised him I'd go and see him and never did. Well, I did, but not all the time. And then in 2007, Billy was back living with me, with a daughter Sophie. And in 2007, me and my mate committed a robbery. And people always say, "Oh God, you've got to have some balls to do that." Like it was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. Running in a post office, like fucking nuts. And I was desperate. I was desperate for money because I was using so much. And we went on the run down to Wales. Just left everything. Went on the run down to Wales. And in January 2008, we got nicked. We got nicked down there. And it's mad because like that day we'd planned to go and do another robbery, go up to Liverpool, and then go to Ireland just to get away because it was getting on top. But they come in at 6 a.m. Robbery squad, like on response and all that. I was fucking like scared. I'm 5 foot nothing. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, and like when I've got some timber now, but like when I'm using, I'm like 7 stone. I'm just this little like sucked off fucking crackhead. So like that was kind of nuts, but I really felt relieved that I'd been nicked. I felt fucking relieved because the way I was using was ill. I kept being ill, kept getting blood clots, and so I was kind of relieved. And then I just remember, I remember it was a Saturday, and then they come and got a robbery squad from my local area, came down to Wales, got us, took us back up. I went no comment, as you do, but they charged us anyway. And I remember, so I started to feel really ill in the police station. Oh, for fuck's sake, here we go. So I lied and said that I was on diazepam and I needed diazepam, and so they gave me them. Like they just get that helps. It helps a bit, right? And then I remember like going to court on the Monday morning, getting put over for Crown because it was the offence, and then getting remanded. And Eastwood Park was on lockdown, so we ended up going to Peterborough.
Oh God.
It's just like, fucking hell. And I remember walking in there and like the first time I went to prison, I was like really scared. I didn't know what was going on. The clanging of the gates and the smell, because it just smells like metal, doesn't it? Metal and
It
people.
has this weird, weird
Yeah,
smell you can never
weird.
shake off.
It's weird. And then this time when I went in, I had this like I was a bit braver. Do you know what I mean? I was a bit like, and then when I went back to court, I went to Eastwood Park in the end anyway, and I was on remand for 8 months. But I just remember, I don't know what happened to me, right? But I was like doing all that madness. I could do it on my head. I'll do it on my head. My barrister had said like 10 to 12, so I was going, okay, I'll fucking do it on my head. But when that door was closed at night, I was not saying that. I was not saying that. I was really scared. I was not scared of being in prison, just scared of the amount of time. And I was thinking, 10 years, man. That is like, that's a chunk. I don't think I can do it. And I kind of kept going back to court. And then in the end, I thought, oh, fuck it, I'm going to go guilty and get an 8. But I got a 5, which
Oh
like, I was
wow.
really pleased about. Got a 5.
Buzzing.
Yeah, I was buzzing. And then I went down to Send, and it's really like, so this was at the time when they were putting YOs in with adults. So when I was in Eastwood Park, they hadn't done it. Do you remember like 18 to 21s they were putting
Yeah,
in
so
with adults?
I think that's just in the remand prison, so Peterborough, Bronzefield, because I don't know if that's a thing in the sentence prisons. Still, I don't know if you've got to be 21. No, they might. No, it must. Is it all across all the prisons? It was,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, well, obviously,
Um,
I'm used to being in with the 18-year-olds up to 80.
yeah. See, we weren't. Oh God, we weren't. We weren't used to them, and we used to be on our own wings, right? On one were like D wing in Eastwood Park, and the YOs would be on E wing over there, and like we'd hear them kicking off all the time. We got locked down because they were causing riots, and we was like
Yeah.
fucking YOs, them fucking YOs, and then they got fixed in with us. We were like, whoa. So that was like nuts. But I remember this one girl, Kirsty, her name was, and I used to see her on. Someone keeps trying to phone me. I used to see her on Free Flow all the time. And I thought she'd got broomstick up her ass, man. She thinks she's summat, do you know what I mean? And there's me walking around thinking I'm summat because I got fucking 5 years. And oh no. And I got shipped to Send. And thank God I got shipped to Send. Like seriously, like thank God I got 5 years. I say this now. Like thank God I got 5 years and I had the time to go to Send and do their wrapped course. And when I first got there, went on there, went to a meeting, a 12-step fellowship meeting, shit myself and left and went on to A wing. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this.
Because when you would have done it, you had to live on D wing, didn't you? And you weren't allowed to
Yeah.
be with the population. Well, when I did
No.
it, I lived on ENF. Was ENF must have been a thing
Yeah,
then?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah.
changed it so D wing become induction wing. And I remember
Oh,
the meetings in the little porter cabin thing, that was all right. But it was because you had to go to 2 AA meetings in the evening or on a weekend. And literally, like, I remember going into the first one and they were all holding hands at the end of it. And I'm like, I'm in a
yeah,
cult. Wait, I'm in a cult. This is
yeah,
fucking weird, and you ain't sucking me into this weirdness. You're all weird. Like, why are men holding prisoners' hands? Like, this is all weird. I was like, nah, I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. But
yeah.
then, yeah, I will let you carry on and you can enlighten us how we were so wrong.
Well, I didn't do it. I fucked off. The next morning,
No.
I packed my stuff.
Why did you go back? I don't know what is happening there. It keeps jumping out, but it says I've got full
Yeah,
internet. I don't know,
yeah,
but we're
mine's
not going
all
to
right.
stop anyway. It is what it is.
We'll keep going.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so this is like September 2008 now. So I've been on remand for like 8 months, and then I got there and did that, and then So I went on A wing. I thought, fuck that. And then I got up the next morning, and this girl on Mac, like Kirsty, who I thought had a sticker for us. She come walking down the landing. I went, fucking all right. She went, oh my God, I'm really glad you're here. And I went, what? She went, I used to see you on Free Flow. She said, I don't know anyone here. She got shipped on her own because
Oh,
she turned, did she turn 21 or did she turn 18? One of the two. And she got shipped out that very day down to Send. And like me and her was just mates the whole way through. Oh, she's dead now, bless her. Like she
what was
she
her
says
name?
to me, Kirsty.
And
She's
what
from
year was
Wales.
this? You was in Sen, sorry?
2008, 2009,
Oh yeah.
and 2010, but she got out in 2009. But yeah,
No,
she
we would have known
Max.
Maxine Oliver, but she was in and out of prison a bit, but then she got a hefty sentence. But she'd served 9 years. She was my best mate that passed away when I got out, but that was in 2021, and she'd done 9 years of her sentence, so she wouldn't have been there when you was.
No. Last time I went to jail was 2011. I haven't been back since, but yeah, we were just friends, and she used to say to me all the time, like, stop taking heroin, and I was like, what? I'm never going to take it again, that fucking never going to take it again. And then, like, the real sad thing about it is she got out, like, I think 10 months before me. I think she got a free, and she fucking started using heroin and died of a heroin overdose, like, just, like, so sad.
God.
So fucking sad. That was about 4 years ago. I stayed in touch with her the whole time. Yeah, so so yeah, and then I think I messed about for ages on A wing, and then I went down because E&F used to be resettlement.
Yeah.
So when you'd done half your sentence, you could go down to E&F. And I was on E wing, and this girl got a parcel. So I smoked this parcel all night with her, and then the next morning got up, and they went, "You got to go for an MDT." Oh, fuck off!
Yes.
No way. So on my way down to the MDT, I said, "There's no point. I used. There's no point, and I want to go unwrapped." And they were like, "Okay, well, you've got to do the MDT. You have to do that because it's MDT, mandatory drug test."
Yeah.
So I did it. Come back clean.
Oh, do you know what? I had this feeling you were going to say that.
Come back clean. So what the fuck? Yeah. So yeah, and I just thought, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go on Wrapped. I'm just going to do it. And I went on there, and it confused the life out of me. Like, just confused the life out of me. Like NA meetings, AA meetings, CA meetings. I was like, what the fuck? Reading all these readings out, but what I did feel like they were talking about me a lot. And this woman, the first one I had, because you used to go up onto where did they used to have it? Upstairs on Main Block. They used to have the meetings in the big hall,
visit hall.
in the visit hall. Yeah. And I remember the first one I ever heard, and this woman said, when I used to feed my kids a bowl of pasta with a knob of butter on, and I remember thinking, they're fucking lucky they got a knob of butter. Like, I just remember thinking that, and then things started to like just click, and I knew I had to do something, and I did Wrapped. Went back down to E-Wing, and I was a peer supporter for a while. Oh God.
I know.
I try not to read. Yeah,
Yeah,
hard not to read them.
If you see me giggling sometimes, it's because I just laugh at how pathetic people's pea brains are. It's just like so. I mean, it's just the most weird. It's not even horrible. It's just weird. It's just weird. Can you
Yeah,
please shout
I just
out the
want
most weirdest stuff?
fucking love pudding.
Can't
Love
they?
pudding.
Like
Really?
literally.
Fucking
But
no.
honestly, isn't Raps the most powerfulest thing? Life changing, because I didn't do it because I was in a drug addiction. I was in it because I'm an addict, and I had no freaking clue that I wasn't the only fucking mental brain that I wake up in the morning and I'm woke up by my brain, and yeah, like I talk myself to sleep. Do you know what I mean? Like I just thought I was just different, and I never realised there was this whole world of me out there with that, you know, that way of thinking, and it was just life changing.
Yeah, I think I always used to think like, why can't I stop? Why can't I just stop? My kids need me. Why can't I stop and be the parent that they need? Like there's so many things that happened, and I just used to think, what is wrong with me? Like I just couldn't understand what was wrong with me. And then going on Wrapped, kind of felt like I found out what was wrong with me. What's wrong with me is it's nothing to do with drugs. It's nothing to do with drugs. It's because I can't fucking. I'm insane. My mind is insane. My thinking patterns, all of that is really insane. And physically, as soon as I have one, I'm just obsessed. I don't stop obsessing.
Obsessive thingy, what
Yeah,
they call it.
obsessive compulsive.
That's
Yeah.
the one. Yeah.
And it's hard to explain to someone, isn't it? It's hard to kind of explain to somebody.
Listen, if you're an addict and your brain is not triggered, you have got no idea. They'll never understand either.
No.
They will never understand, because if you put in as much commitment to being an addict as you did to setting up your own business or whatever, we'd be multi-billion zillionaires. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the commitment you put into doing what's wrong is insane. Like it's insane, but then you can never understand an addict's mind. I think the only time you can understand is if you do the other ones. You know, what's it called? So it's AA and that, but it's for the family. So you're not an addict.
Oh,
But
so got Al-Anon.
that's it.
That's Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah, so it's for people that
Family.
are not addicts, but that have suffered and gone through trauma of the parent being an addict or a child or the brother, and then that's the only time they understand, because you train, you know, you get put it in a different light from people that know how to explain it, but no one will ever understand. People just think you should just give up and that's the end of it, bang, done, and
Yeah.
or you should just change, you know, you should just change. Like your kids, kids should come first and they should be, but once you become an addict, you're fucked.
It's all over.
Yeah,
All bets are off.
exactly.
All bets are off. And, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm really sounds kind of perverse to say I'm thankful I got 5 years, and I'm thankful that, you know, I went to Send and all of that. And I say now, when people say about things, I say, oh, I lived in Guildford. I lived in Guildford for 2
Yeah, I
years.
lived in Guildford at Her Majesty's property. Just
Yeah.
move this light round. Excuse me 1 second. It's getting a bit dark in here. Yeah, literally. So, what was I going to say? Oh, I've made it worse now. It was getting really dark. And what officers were there? I'm going way off track
Oh
now,
my!
but
I can't even remember.
Paula,
Is that
someone called Paula.
Nah? I always just say boss,
I
miss
always
or
used to say
boss.
Sarah Miss. I used to say don't,
Yeah.
but anyway, let's not. So you do Wrapped, you
Yeah.
complete it,
Yeah.
you get your
Completed
certificate
it.
and all that.
Graduated.
Did you get your T-shirt?
Yeah. Got my certificate. Yep. Got my T-shirt. Yeah. Got a little bag with all my bits and bobs in it. And then went down E&F, and I was a peer supporter. Like I was like giving the women back what was like given to me on Wrapped, and I absolutely loved it. And that's the first time that I realised that I was really good at helping people. Because I've always had this, I don't really like people, to be fair. I'm not a peoply person. But I'm quite good at helping people, which is like it's like a perverse kind of
It's
thing.
rewarding though. It's different.
Yeah.
It's rewarding, and you do seem like a genuine, like, caring person. And I feel like you've probably got so much to give as well. Like, especially with being through everything you've been through. There's probably so many women that can relate to your story.
Yeah.
So you probably helped a lot of women. I did it all as well. It's just rewarding. So rewarding.
Very. Just makes you, I don't know, it's like a kind of like indirect help, isn't it, to other people?
Yeah, like we make bad choices in life, but then you kind of use it in a positive way. You know, like, we messed up, yeah, but let's try and give a little bit back. Like,
Yeah,
let's do the best that
yeah,
we can to give a little bit back, and when it comes from a
mm,
genuine place, it feels good.
yeah. It does feel good. Um, yeah. Um, oh, so when I got out, they wanted me to go to rehab. So I remember being on the phone doing this assessment, right? I was in the office on E-Wing, right? And I was having this assessment, and this woman said to me, she went, "Oh, we've got an old women's house if you'd like to go to that." I went, "No, I fucking wouldn't. I've been in prison for 2.5 years. No, I fucking wouldn't." And I didn't, and I went in a mixed house. It's another story.
I can
Um,
imagine. But
it's
why
another
have you got to
story.
go to rehab when literally you've just done rehab?
It's a secondary. So wrapped is like I can't remember how long it is. Was it like is it?
So
I thought it was 6 months, but was it 12 weeks? I
so
thought it was longer than
well, when I done it, did you do is it just the 5 steps when you were there, or did they do 12 then? Well, when
No, we did 12.
yeah, it was only 5 steps. I think the
Right.
problem was as the years probably went on, the more women come in using, and the turnaround of the prison. Obviously, there's a lot of women coming in, so I think they shortened it. I
Right.
ended up. I was on there for about 14 weeks, and they tried to keep me on for longer. They wouldn't graduate me. And they was like, we really don't want you to go. Like, you really challenge the girls, like, but with love.
Mm.
I would always like call people out. You got to call people out, but I would say it in a way with love. Do you know what I mean? Though
Yeah.
it's like I would just tell it how it is. But then, as an example, one girl's there and she's like getting all upset and she's mad because the kids, she was a user, and the kid's dad's got the kids, and I can't remember what it was. They were not saying like she couldn't speak to him or something, and I was like, I get it, and this is coming with love from a good place. I said, where would you be right now if you wasn't
Mm.
in prison? She was like, on the streets. I said, using. She was like, yeah. So where would your kids be? She went, not with me. I said, and you wouldn't want to call them. I said, so just take this time to not hold on to the anger and all of that, and just keep working on yourself in here. We're all here for you to talk, but you're going to fixate on something that you've got to think, actually, they're in a safe place, they're being loved, blah, 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 blah. So they try not to let me leave. So I just said, fine, don't graduate me, I'm going. And they was like, no, 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 we'll graduate you, because I was going to do another job and I was working to go out on my rottles and stuff. I probably would
Yeah.
have stayed on there if I didn't have that, to be honest. I actually really
Mm.
enjoyed it. It took me to places I've never been before. Some
Mm.
dark, dark places, what you put away in Pandora's box and all that.
Yeah.
My advice to anyone that's watching this and you are facing prison, get your ass to send if you're an addict, even if you're clean. Like, I wasn't using, but fuck me, it changed my life. Honestly, best thing I've ever done. So get your ass there and get
Definitely.
on that course.
Especially if you've got some time as well. If you've got a couple of years or more.
Yeah,
But I think you've got to
100%.
have 2 years or more, haven't you? You've got to have 2 years or more. So a year left on your sentence, I'm sure, because of
Yeah, I
weight.
think it's all a bit different now.
And then, is it?
Have we frozen? No? All right, okay. I thought we
No.
frozen then. I was like,
I was just waiting for you to say
God, it's been a bad
something.
connection tonight.
I
I
was
don't know
waiting for you
what's
to say
going on.
something.
Anyway, I'll be waffling on. So, no, this is my,
Anyway,
it's me. I
it's
can't
all
help.
right.
It's just, do you know what? It's because you can relate and you've done it, and it just gets me all
Yeah,
excited and takes me back to such a happy place.
yeah.
I'm joking.
Of
No, but
course. And like,
do you know what I mean?
it was dark and difficult, but at the same
I,
time, I had a what giggle on that.
honestly, do you know what? Like, the last couple of days, I don't know why, but I keep getting these real feelings of good times in prison. And I'm like, Fran,
Yeah.
sort it out. Like, that, like the summer just reminds me of the good times being out in the garden down E&F and having like just being, because you're allowed to be out all day, you could sunbathe all day.
Yeah.
I look like I've
Yeah.
been abroad. I spent 2 days out in the garden digging a pond. I look like I've been to Spain. Oh, what, because you got to go up the dining hall, weren't you? And everyone was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
"Fuck." But when you're on the main block, you ain't got that freedom. You got to go in your room and stuff. So it's just, I don't
Yeah.
know, because as horrible as it was, there's just no responsibilities, no
No,
choices. You'd have to make no choices. I think that's what I struggle with. I'm like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, then I'm gonna do, and like in prison, you ain't got a choice, mate. Go to work, go to your room, job done. But
proper addict.
yeah,
Proper addict. Can't make a decision. Can't
yeah,
stick to a decision if one is made. Gone.
literally. That's why it done me good, because it was that authority. I have to be told what to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And I think that's been my whole life. I still really struggle with like making a decision and then following it through.
I know. I
I
have these
might put
great
my lamp
plans in
on.
my brain. I
That's
have
fair.
great plans and ideas, but anyway, so you've done
Anyway,
Relapse, you go back down to E and F.
yeah. Got out,
What's
went to rehab.
oh
Can
yeah,
I just
sorry, that's
say
what we got
that
to.
a really like a shitty thing that I didn't like about being in prison, especially in a long-term prison. So it was J Wing. So J Wing, I wasn't impressed. Like so I was working out on the gardens before I used and went on to Rapt. And like, you know, look, I won't name names or anything, but I just remember sitting there and I had my spade and my a shovel and a rake, because I was doing the driveway up to the prison. So I sat there and I'm waiting for a couple of other girls, and then we were going to go. And this person walked past me, and she'd done some horrific things, and and spoke to me. Oh, hiya. I fucking just wanted to hit her with a spade. I just wanted to shove it in her face. I didn't. I just looked at her. But I found that kind of thing really difficult about being in
They do it
prison.
on
And
purpose as well, because they know
yeah,
if you're working at being a good prisoner, or your rottles or whatever, they'll do it on purpose. But yeah, as I guys, J Wing, I've explained it before. It's a prison inside a prison
in a
for all the
prison,
people that have SA'd or unalived kids. Basically, they all live down there because no one can get on there unless they're getting medication. Or that you're doing some course, like, but you got to live on there if you do TC.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, who's the most high profiled prisoner you was in prison with? Was I'm a little
Rose
bit.
West.
Oh, did you actually meet her? Did you actually talk to her? Or is that who you're talking
And
about?
no, I didn't talk to her. I wouldn't talk to her.
It's
No, 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 it's not. She was at Peterborough for a little while. I wouldn't talk to her. No, I just saw her, and it just made me feel sick. That was when I was in Peterborough, but I was only there in Peterborough for 2 weeks, because then I went back so I was in magistrates for committal, and then went back 2 weeks later for pleas and D's and all of that. So Rose West, and then with Tracy Andrews, but her name's not Tracy Andrews anymore. She changed it. Remember
oh,
that? She killed her. Lee Harvey was her boyfriend, and she blamed it on a road rage. It was in Bromsgrove.
oh,
She
I
blamed
didn't
it
know
just
that.
outside Birmingham. She blamed it on a road rage. And she was on like all news crying, and it was her, and she did it.
Oh shit.
Um, and that woman who I was talking about, I don't know what her second name is. I just know her first name was Eunice, and she was the one with Child A.
Oh, hang on. I've had
She's probably still in there.
isn't that the one I've had a brother? Hang on. I'm sure that I've had the girls. Did the girl that she unalive herself? No, hang on. I might be thinking of
So
someone else.
Eunice was an old woman, and she fostered loads of little
Yeah,
kids,
yeah. I've had
and
her.
made them eat salt and vinegar
Yeah.
and
Now the girl
drugs.
she done it to, her half brother has been on my YouTube live. He was the first
Eunice
ever.
Spry, there you go, Eunice Spry.
That's it. Yeah. He was Daniel. It's gonna bug me now. I gotta get it. But yeah, what was his name? So it's Victoria Spry's. Yeah, so meet Victoria Spry's half brother. I think he's the first live I ever done, actually, to be fair, with the guy at the bottom.
Amazing. Yeah, yeah.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
check
she
that
was
out.
pure evil. Pure evil. Wow, I can't believe. Is she
She's the one that said to me, hiya. And actually, what I actually said was,
Is
"Don't
she still
fucking
alive?
speak to me."
Yeah.
This was in 2009, 2000. Not this is 14, 15 years ago when I was in Stand.
Oh my god. What do you reckon? Have you seen, like, you must have seen fights or anything? What was the worst thing you see?
That what I said in the beginning. I didn't see it, but I heard it. So I
Yeah.
think it because I
That's
didn't
quite
see it and I could
traumatizing. You
only
still
hear it.
know. What so with so when you done Wrapped, was it a was you, because you know how you can go on people's prison plan, sentence plan, was it on yours or was it just a choice to do it?
So when I was getting, because I got 5 years, so you go to a life of jail, don't you? If you get over a certain amount of time, you end up in a life of jail, which is Send a life of jail, isn't it? And they said to me, well, you can go to this place and you can do this course and this course, which was on my sentence plan. I don't know what it wasn't TC, but there was a couple of, like, because it was robbery and stuff. So there was a couple of victim courses basically.
Yeah.
And they said, or you could go here and we could put you down for doing this rehabilitation of addicted prisoners. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll do that, because they said rehab, and that had never been said to me before. And I was like, yeah, well, I'll do that. And so then when I went, the first night I got there, I was unwrapped, and then the next day I went to a meeting. I was like, yeah, fuck this. And then went on A-wing for a year, but then I did go on there in the end. So, so yeah.
So how long did you
So,
serve altogether then this time around?
so I did 2.5. Then it's weird because like my prison experience is not horrific apart from that and being really scared the first time. Like my prison experience, as in like I'll get on with people, like me and Kirsty, we were just me and Kirsty for 2 years. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, and I kind of get on all right in prison. The only part of, I think, like for me, is that like I understand that we have rats and stuff like that, but I just don't, I lost my boy. I got absolutely no like help afterwards with any of like his dad or anything like that. I never got any, not that I'm saying society needs to help me. Like I understand like it was my fault, like that my boy didn't come back to me. But sometimes I just think to myself, maybe if I was, because the sentencing's changed now, right? The sentencing, you can get sentenced to treatment now, right? Court ordered treatment. I know that you can get that.
This keeps coming back.
I know I'm dying to. So it's just, I just think, like how would it have been any different if treatment or rehab had have been an option like 20 years ago? How things might have been different, but I don't know. Because like I've done treatment in prison, I've done treatment 4 times out here and in prison, so probably it wouldn't have been different. But I just think too many of us are kind of like, I don't know, I have to take responsibility for the fact that I was told if you are back here again, you will go to prison. So I have to take that responsibility. I have to. I knew it was a possibility. And I knew if I went to prison, my son would have to go to his dad. And the girls were older, so they were kind of all right. But so, I've got to take that responsibility. But then there's also a part of me that thinks, fuck, I wish like things would have been different. But they weren't. They weren't different. So yeah, I got out, went to rehab for another 3 months. And I got 18 months clean in the end. I got 18 months. But then I relapsed. And part of my license agreement was that I had to give clean tests. And I couldn't give a clean test because I was using. So I got a recall and I still had 11 months. I was fucking fuming. I thought, I can't do it for 11 months, man. And look, I've never cried in a police station. I've never cried in a police station. I never cried on my way to jail. I've never cried in a court. None of that. And when I got recalled, because they take you there, I was in like a little fucking police van thing. And I just remember pulling up to Eastwood Park in this police van, and I just looked over and I saw the windows, man, and I cried. Oh, fuck. And I did cry. I cried in front of the police. Something I'd never done. And I was absolutely gutted. I was so gutted. Just gutted, you know. And I remember getting back in there and just being absolutely devastated because I'd been clean for a while and I'd seen my kids. I
Yeah,
was
it's
seeing my
probably hit
son.
different.
Yeah, I'd had a couple of meet-ups with my son and his dad, and then and then got recalled, and that was so I got recalled. Have you ever been to Eastwood Park?
No.
Okay, so in Eastwood Park, it's pretty much the same as any jail. You've got a main block. And then when I went back on this recall, they got this new wing and it was called K Wing. And everyone who was on a script or whatever went on this wing. Fucking hell. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. And not fortunately, I knew I was getting recalled, so I went in with stuff. And I just like so I'm 53 now, and like so back in 2011 I was like whatever, I was like 40 whatever, 41. And I just remember walking in there and it was just full of YOs. Do you know what I mean? I was just full of YOs, and I was just like, oh my God. And they was all nuts and they were all running around. They were all trying to, do you know what I mean? See what you got. And I'm like straight away thinking, fuck, I've got this parcel. They are not doing to me what they did to her. And I just remember shutting myself away in my cell for a couple of days and just pretending I was ill, but I wasn't ill. That I didn't enjoy that at all. But I just think, you know, like with remand, when you're on remand and everyone's running around trying to get everyone's meds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or everyone's
Chaotic.
parcel.
Yeah. I forgot
Like
about that
who's on a
whole
visit? Yeah. They're on a
That's
visit. They're on
dirty.
a visit.
Yeah. Dirty stuff, man. What they do. Fucking
Yeah.
horrible.
It's,
So
it
how
is
long did you
horrible.
do on the recall? Because did you get 28 days or was it a full recall?
I couldn't get 28 days because I got over 4 years. So no, I had 11 months left, and then I had to go to panel. So I went to panel after 5 months, and then I got the panel, so I got out. Yeah, I got out in November 2011, and that's
Wow.
the last time I've ever been to prison. Was then.
What made it be the last time? What do you think made it be the last time?
I think because since then I've stuck really close to 12-step fellowship. I've not stayed clean. I've not stayed clean. My son came to me when he was 12 with his dad and said, I can't have a relationship with you, Mum, because it's hurting me.
God.
Because I was back in prison, you know, it's relapsing.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was really, really fucking devastating. And on the flip side of that, I just thought, what an amazing young man to be able to put a boundary in like that for himself. And I just really respected him for that.
Mm.
He's 26 now. I've not seen him since.
Oh shit. I'm sorry
I
to
know
hear
it's.
that.
I'm kind of like day to day. It's an ache day to day, but it's not like this crippling pain that it was in the beginning. But I message him every month. Hopefully, one day maybe. Who
Oh.
knows? I don't know, but you know, he's got his son now. He's got a house. He's in the army. He's an amazing young man. He's an amazing young man, and I'm grateful to his dad really, because it might not
Yeah.
have been like that if he just stayed with me.
He could have gone through the system. You know,
Exactly.
just to be. And what about your other children, your grandkids? Are you You're right. You go on. You do your thing. I'll keep talking for us both. Do you
That's
have
okay.
contact? Are you all close with them still? Like you?
Yeah. I mean, she's 36 now. She's got 3 kids. Her kids are great. I think she's on here, so I don't know how much I can say really, but she's one of us. She's like me. Struggles. And you know, her kids have their own struggles, and I'm close with her middle one. Her eldest lives with my mum, and last year I completely cut my mum off out of my life because it was this like, you know, in the beginning, and I was talking about I just like wanted to be with my mum, and I've kind of had this ongoing theme throughout my life where I'll just like be trying to get her approval, and I just kind of came to a decision that fuck that. I've spent too much of my time trying to do that, and there was an argument, and I just thought, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. And so I just cut that out of my life, and so unfortunately, I don't get to see my eldest granddaughter, who will be 20 in December, which is like nuts. Um, but I'm close with the middle one, close with the middle one, and then my middle daughter Sophie, she's just like a normal bod. She's been with the same fella for like 14 years. They've got 3 kids. They do all. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm really close with the little ones. Like, they're absolutely amazing little people, and like they're all not all of them are ginger, but like my 2 daughters are ginger.
My nephew's
Some
ginger.
of
There's
my
nothing wrong
grand.
with gingers.
I love it.
I'm a
I
little
just think
ginger
I
ninja.
give the world more gingers. It's great. Um, and so yeah, I am close with both my daughters, but I'm not. You know, I'm not with my son. No, not yet, not yet, and maybe I never will. But I've got. There's a thing. Maybe I never will, but maybe I might. So you know,
Exactly.
there's
Listen,
hope
just
there.
do what you're doing, and you should be so
Mm,
proud of yourself. You lapsed, so what? You've come back from it. You lapsed, so what? You've done it again. You know,
yeah,
you could have just ended up having no relationship with none of them. You've got every reason to go off the rails. You know, the fact that you message him every month and you get nowhere, that'd make any addict just go and use. Like at the end of the day, you know, look, whatever happens, be proud of yourself. To you and your daughter, like we all struggle. Like no one has to be embarrassed. You know, people are even addicts and they struggle with mental health or just getting through life. Yeah, like everyone's saying in here, like what a lovely person you are, how amazing you are.
oh,
You know, um, I definitely yeah, I definitely just think you should be so proud of the fact that you've not gone back to prison. And it's a struggle, man. Like, take away
mhm,
drugs, take away alcohol. Like, God, you keep doing anyone living with this brain,
yeah,
like it's not easy. It's not easy. Literally, I think I've got ADHD. It's like having, I reckon, ADHD, autism, depression, bloody being like the highest
anxiety,
person, happiest person, all into one little ball that just goes round and round and round in the brain. Like it's
just
crazy.
constant.
Yeah,
Can't shut it up.
literally. Yeah. Oh,
Mm.
mate. Oh, it's oh,
And
if I
and I
turn
think
over,
go on.
no, I was gonna say if I turn over at night time and I think of something, that's it. I'm up. I'm awake. I'm awake.
Awake.
It's
Yeah.
like if I stir, I'm like go sleep. Don't think. Don't think. Don't think. Don't think. Don't think. And then I go back to sleep. Like
And that makes you think even more because you're thinking about not thinking.
yeah, I know. And then it's like my brain will go, right, what can I pick on that's really bad in my life that's actually not bad, but I'll tell myself it's really bad and
It's
the
bad.
world's
Yeah.
over. And then literally now I'm going to be awake all night. It's
Yeah.
just
Then
weird,
it's like,
mate.
fuck it,
I
I'll get
poke
something to
myself in
eat.
the eye. Yeah,
Just eat.
literally. So you're still going to your meetings and stuff now, are
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, yeah,
Fair
yeah.
play to you, because
Yeah.
I don't, and
I
I've
have to.
promised myself I'd be going, and I've not. I'm terrible. But I'm thinking, I mean, I don't know where you're at because we've been on quite a while. I wouldn't mind getting a
Mm.
few questions, but I am so grateful for you coming on, and I'd love you to come back on again. Um, even just a Q&A night, just to answer some questions, because I feel like we probably haven't heard all of your story. I probably jumped in a little bit and waffled on, and I do apologise.
That's all right.
Sorry. Okay, so Victoria said, "You are amazing, Eliza. You should be very proud. You've been to hell and back, but are still a standing girl."
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cute.
it is. Guys, have you got any questions? I know people have been chatting away. They normally do chat amongst themselves anyway. It's like a little family in here, honestly. Everyone's so lovely.
Yeah.
Like, you'll get the weirdos that are coming in oh, it makes me giggle
Love
sometimes.
pudding.
Mental. Can you please shout my name? This happens at the end of every live. I'll say, "Have you got any questions?" and then they'll all go quiet. So what I'm doing, I've got, so on a Monday night I do a Q&A night. You carry on. So I do a Q&A night, and it's just something that I've started doing every Monday evening. So people just come on and ask questions, because I do have a lot of questions. So what I want to, yeah, Glenna is the bouncer. She's like that. And I saw Lauren. Is it Lauren? You've done some as well. Thank you, babe. I appreciate that as well. So yeah, I want to start inviting guests back on, so then people can just do Q&A, and it's just a random one. I mean, I done one last Monday, and I hadn't really done anything. I was a bit like, in myself. But I loved it. I was sat on for an hour and a half, and I had a really nice evening. Has Eliza watched Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul?
Surprisingly, yes. What's
I've
that?
not watched either.
Have you not?
No,
Breaking Bad's hilarious.
no, I'm not saying it.
I didn't
I've
think
watched
much of Better Call
most of
Saul, but Breaking
Wentworth.
Bad. I've never watched that.
It's so unrealistic. It's ridiculous, but it's really addictive.
Is it?
But I've not watched the end of it, to be fair. Have you seen Time?
Yes,
Have
amazing.
you seen the female one?
No.
Oh my God. So whenever anyone says, "What's prison like?" I always tell them to watch the female one, because it's the
Oh,
closest
yes,
thing
I did. Yes, I did.
I've
Yes.
ever seen to the reality of a female prison. That's the closest thing I've ever seen to that actually resembles a female prison. The only thing that would not happen is they wouldn't put a child unaliver in a double.
No.
That would never
Yeah.
happen. But other than that,
I watched that, right? And that exact, look, so I went to Drake Hall. So I went to Eastwood Park on my recall, and I had 11 days left, and they shipped me to bloody Drake Hall. And have you been to Drake Hall?
no, I've only been to Bronzefield and Send.
Oh, okay. It's just like that. So there's no
little.
officers on your wing at all.
Oh,
And they're
shit.
barracks, it's old army barracks. And there's 12 women to each barrack. And then you've got like a big, like, common room, I suppose they'd call
Yeah.
it. If you want an officer, you have to call for an officer. You have to go out and find an officer. So when I watched the female Time, I was like, oh my God, that's filmed there. I was like, that's definitely filmed in Drake Hall, because it was exactly the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's nuts. It was absolutely nuts.
You are the positive, strongest woman in the whole of the UK. You guys are amazing and beautiful. Thank you very much. I watched Wentworth.
Wentworth.
You girls terrify me. Yeah, Wentworth is just ridiculously so far from the truth. It's unbelievable. But yeah, when I say to people, if you really want to know what prison's like, watch that, because that
Yeah.
is the reality of it. It's the name calling more so than the fighting of someone that's SA'd a kid or an unalived one. It's more of that constant pick. But yeah, they wouldn't be put in the same population as people anyway. They'd get seen to.
I think I remember I remember when I was in Send, Baby P's mom got shipped to Send. And so look, you get jobs, don't you? You have jobs like wing cleaning, kitchens, whatever. But if you are like highly enhanced, you can get a thingy job where you're working in that first reception bit. And one of the girls come from reception, because she'd got sent away from reception, because there was a high profile prisoner coming in. And you know, in Send, and you go through reception, they've got a holding cell, haven't they? An open holding cell. It's like just bars, just as you go through reception.
Oh, so that's not even a thing anymore. So if you go past reception with it like on your right hand side and you go straight down and they're on the right hand side there, do you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
They've got like bars like they're in America. Yeah, they're actually what are they called? 24-hour watch cells now. So when you go
Oh,
into
okay.
Send, when you go to reception, straight away opposite there's a little room on the left. They do just sit in a room there.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right.
But yeah, anyway, I know
Well,
what you mean. Sorry, go on.
yeah, no, it's fine. So, and so it went round the prison very, very. I was on A-wing there.
Oh,
A-wing went round very quickly, and everyone just kicked off. And so she got held in the holding cell, and then she was shipped out of Germany or something the next day where no one knew who she was. But so that was quite like fucking mental, because I think she'd have been really harmed.
Yeah, they're really high profile ones. They do. You, Justine, said you are an amazing lady, Eliza, positive and strong.
No, that's cute.
It's
Thank you.
true. You're making a blush.
Thanks.
Stop it, Justine.
No,
No, you seem like such a lovely lady, and yeah, and people don't realize as well the trauma, the things that it's all right. It's all right now looking back, and I think, oh God, I always blame the parents and stuff, but there's things that like for me, it's a bit different. I was brought up with a lot of love, like you, like yeah, things could have been done different, and that causes trauma. That affects people.
It does, but sometimes I think, like, I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny the fact that I've struggles. I've struggles with all of that now today. But what I also is I help women that have been through trauma.
Yeah,
So sometimes I think maybe like it's not made me who I am, because it didn't have to make me who I am. I didn't need to be made into
yeah.
this version of myself, if that makes sense. Um, so but it did, it gave me what I've got. It gave me the ability to be able to help other women who've been through what I've been through.
Yeah, that's why we do. I do what we do. It's all about sharing and hoping we can make a difference to someone. And someone, like I said to you earlier, someone could watch this and relate and go, God, I am not like I did in the course. Like, fuck, I'm not the only person. I'm not a bad person. Like, I'm not. Sometimes it's just making someone just realize they're not alone and they don't have to feel alone.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, sorry.
You're all right. Okay, Stanley. He's still alive. Yeah, there's a couple more comments down there. Yes, respect Eliza, keep your head up. I wish I was as strong as you, Eliza. There is no way I could cope with prison.
You
Everyone
think that,
says that.
don't you? You
Yeah,
think
you
that,
haven't
but
got a
then you get there
choice.
and you're like,
You have
all
not
right.
got a choice. And it's
You've
not as
got
bad
to.
as you think. I mean, it's bad, but it's not as bad as you think it's going to be.
Definitely not. I mean, I've seen fights over Australian crunch pudding. Seen girls kicking each other's head in over a pudding.
It's mad, isn't it? The things they fight
Fucking
over.
nuts. Just absolutely nuts. And it's weird because I never got any money sent to me, and I never got any visits either. I had one visit off my mum on my first sentence, and I never got any visits, never got any money sent to me. So I was just living on like a wing wage. So first it was £8.50. That was back in like 2005, and then it was like £10. And then when I was doing peer support, it was £11, 50p off for your telly, because you have to pay 50p for your telly unless you share. No, it's £1 for your telly and 50p for sharing.
Yeah.
So Australian crunch pudding, exactly that. It was all just I think it was all the out of date cereal was just thrown into a bowl with a load of melted chocolate, made into this fucking thing. People were fighting over it. Nuts. Fucking nuts. But I just used to keep, with my money, I'd buy a packet of tobacco, a little pouch of coffee, and put £1 on my phone to phone my kids once a week. That was it.
Mad. Mad, isn't
Nuts.
it?
Yeah, nuts. Ice bank mice elf. Don't know what that
Yeah,
is.
no, if you
Okay.
say it a couple of times in your head, you'll get it.
Oh, fucking hell, yeah. All right.
It's only because you
Jesus.
said it, I got it. If I'd have read it, I would have done, and then I'd have said it again, and yeah. So I mean, it's just it makes you giggle though. It makes you giggle.
Yeah. Yeah. Bless them.
Oh no, I really, really, really appreciate you taking your time and
You're welcome.
sharing your story, because it's not easy. It's not always easy to just be so open and honest, and I appreciate that, because I feel like from the conversation we had off on the phone, off of here, I got a lot more than what I thought actually you would have shared tonight. Oh, see, Mitch, we're just going, buddy. See, Mitch is actually in prison.
Oh.
He's lovely. He always comes in and says hello.
Oh. Bless
Hindsight
him.
is bittersweet, Eliza. Never mind the what ifs. It's all about the what's next. And with your experiences, big heart and big smile, things can only get better.
Oh.
Thanks for sharing. You are
Thanks.
amazing. Thank you, Rachel and Victoria.
Yeah, thank you.
And you know, and if we all come together with all our experiences and different angles, yes, we'll be back soon, see Mitch. I'll definitely be back on by Monday anyway. So yeah, I hope you're good. And tell the boys I say hello with the boys.
Yeah. Hi, boys.
What was I saying? Yeah, if we all come together, the more of us that come together, the more of us that, you know, we can help women in different ways. So, you know, this is just the start of a big, big journey for us, for me and Glenna. So obviously, the more women like yourself that come on and want to help and support in any way. I mean, I'm taking it you're on the Facebook groups and stuff.
I've kind of come off Facebook, but
No, that's all right. Anyway, you've got our numbers anyway, so we'll stay in touch. And you know, when things start really rolling out, we'll contact you. We'll stay in touch anyhow. But I'd definitely love to have you back on for a Q&A evening if you would like to come back on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Guys, yeah, again, thank you so much. Honestly, like I
Can
said
I just
already.
ask, is my daughter on here still? I don't know if she's on here still.
Come
Is
on,
Billy on
speak
here?
up.
She might not be.
Billy, come and
Go
say
on, Billy,
hello.
write a comment. She might not be. She probably won't, because, well, it's her she'd be on her fella's phone anyway, but yeah, maybe not.
Oh, well, shout out to... Oh, hang on, if I froze now. Shout out to Billy anyway.
Yeah.
And yeah, you
Bless
should
her.
definitely be proud of your mum. It's probably been a real tough journey for you, but at the end of the day, your mum's here and she's trying to be better, and that in itself is not easy.
Bless her. Thanks, guys.
No, thank you, and thank you everybody who's watching this now, who's watching it after. I appreciate you always. It's me. I wondered if that was your daughter, because of something she said before. If like someone Victoria put at it's me, and I did wonder if that was your daughter, because it just says it's me. They commented something lovely earlier. Thanks, can't wait to watch the start. I missed that. Yeah, I'm not going to scroll through all the comments, but yeah, she said something and it made me actually no, I will, because I let me just quickly try and find
Was
it.
it at the beginning?
It was, you both deserve to go to heaven, even though you've been to prison. Oh, I don't know. Oh yeah, she put you will be so loved by me. So I wasn't sure. I did wonder if that was your daughter or not.
Maybe.
And then she put another comment, but I don't know where that one is. Someone was Night Will, thank you for tuning in. And yeah, Joanne says thanks. Can't wait to watch the start that I missed. Good night. What's happening in your generation?
KKK.
What's happening in yours, Mush?
Mm-hmm.
Don't know how to respect your elders.
Oh,
no.
she's put. My daughter's just messaged me.
Oh,
I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you, Mom. It's not me. So that person was not her.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, bless her.
Was
Yeah, I
anyone
was in
in
Rose West.
Yeah.
Oh, she's a fucking horrible little thing. She is.
They were best friends. I'm joking. I'm only playing. Guys, I'm joking. That was a joke.
We weren't. And it's really strange, right? 'Cause she's an horrible little thing, right frumpy and like horrible looking little thing. Yet she's got this young, beautiful girlfriend that just follows her around everywhere she goes. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Do you know what I
but
mean?
that's because of the
The hype.
who they are. Who they are.
Yeah,
I've
of course.
seen it with another high profile. They're fixated because of who they are.
They are, yeah.
Mm.
I'm just like,
They're
move from
vulnerable
me.
women normally. They're normally vulnerable women that go with them high profiles.
Yeah,
I was
never
going to say
right.
something. I can't remember what I was going to really say. I don't know now. Someone else was with her that you interviewed. Yeah,
The notoriety, exactly,
yeah,
the notoriety.
they were friends with her. I can't believe you was in it with that Ernest, what's her name?
Oh, Eunice, right.
Eunice.
Oh, she's the one that when I was sat waiting to go out in the gardens, she said to me, "Hiya," and I just said, "Don't fucking speak to me." And I
Is
just
she?
wanted to.
I want to
Oh,
know if. I wonder if she was in the same when I was in there. If she's even still alive. I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll
She was
save
a little
that.
old lady on
I'm,
J Wing.
I'm gonna check in with Glenna. Nothing. Say sexy like a cereal thingy in a cardigan. That's what I mean. Yeah, you do it for me.
Brilliant.
You've unalived more
Yeah.
than 4 people. That is doing it for me. I'm going to sleep with one eye open, but I am coming to your room tonight.
Good for you.
Now.
That
What I
cardigan
mean?
just does it.
It's like that,
Brilliant.
over your head and that. Like, nah, I'm all right, thanks.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great. I've
No,
enjoyed it.
thank you. I'm going to check in with Glenna. I know we've got a few dates booked in over the next few Mondays, but I'll definitely drop you a message and give you some dates on a Monday and see when you're free. And we'll hopefully do it over the next sort of, I don't know, 4 weeks or something. We'll find a Monday that's free.
It'll be
Guys,
amazing.
love you all. Thank you so much. And love to you
Thank
as
you so
well,
much.
Eliza. Honestly, I wish you all the best. But like I said, it's not going to be goodbye,
My,
mate. We'll definitely stay in contact now.
my daughter's just messaged me.
Yeah.
And she said, "Is that Billy though, or is that?" So she's on here, and she said, "Oh my God, can she do a follow up on from this?"
Oh, that'd be amazing.
He's never been to prison.
Yeah, but it's about being on the receiving end of an addict as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, please, yeah. But I mean, yeah, I'd be really grateful if you'd like to come on. And like I said to your mum, it's your story. You tell as little as much as you want to tell. I think it'd be a really, really powerful story because it's also like the ripple effect. It's prison, but it's anything that can be. I've had ex-officer on here. It doesn't. It's the effects of going to prison and hearing a child cry from a child's perspective. It could actually affect someone out there, and it can make a difference in a positive way. Is what I'm trying to say. I never get my
Of
words out
course.
good. Yeah, she's good. Thank you, Justine. Thank you for asking. Yeah. My partner in crime's already jumped in. Yeah, we'll sort that out after the chat for sure. I
To
am
be
a
fair, you look like
convict.
a
Yeah,
convict.
yeah,
We
that's
are
me.
convicts.
Yeah, and what?
Well done. Well
Fucking,
done.
I don't know. 10 out of 10 for your fucking comment, mate. Jesus. No, 100%.
My,
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
awesome.
So she's been on here the whole time. She just said, and it would help her if she could do it as well. And I was just like,
Yeah, there, that.
brilliant, amazing. She's an
Yeah,
amazing young woman.
yeah. Just give her my number and just tell her to drop me a message.
Oh, well, amazing.
Right, we're getting loads and
Cool.
loads of weirdos coming through now. Right, love to
All
you.
right,
Love
cool.
to everybody out there. Thank you
Okay,
so
thank you
much.
so much for having me.
No, you're welcome. Honestly, I appreciate your time. And yeah, give your daughter my number and tell her to drop me a message. All right.
I'll do that.
Take care.
Amazing.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you. Bye.